moisture is in the air, so these storms are going to be producing a ton of rainfall, and so that could be a problem with visibility going forward. So again, we'll have to just watch out for that potential and just make sure, again, Crawford, Roll, Mackey, you guys are in your safe spots. Additional storms are coming in, towards the Harmon area, and then also all the way into Woodward County. We've got those storms that are heading towards the Mutual and the Visai area, and that's essentially was another storm that was able to develop. And it looks like even north of here, Peyton, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued for the storm by the Freedom area, and that goes until 9 o'clock tonight for basically all within Woods County for the most part. And that one is going to be probably just for your baseline 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail.
Yes,
but
hail an inch in diameter.
Yeah. But Peyton, this is the area that we knew was going to fill in more and more with our storms, and so that's what we've started to see right now already on the radar. And just zooming out, you can tell that we are starting to see more activity within this area. We've got our storms within Kay County moving into Osage County. We've got more storms kind of filling in there. And then we've got our big storms coming in out of the Panhandle with our supercell and that tornado potential, with an additional smaller storm just to the north of it that's got that severe thunderstorm warning with it too. Let's try and see what Jeff's shot looks like right now. And okay, so Jeff's starting to get himself into position. And Jeff, we've got you up right now. Shot's very, very clear. Looks like you've even got some potential mammatus underneath those clouds. Is that what you're seeing too?
There's definitely some mammatus going on. This is we're still quite a ways from this thing.
Okay.
But even from our distance, it's looking impressive.
Yeah, from we've been talking about how on the radar, since it's so far away from any one of our radars, it looks good on there too. But yeah, you are looking to be getting into position nicely. You probably say what? You're still about maybe 8 miles outside from there?
That or a little bit less, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and even on your shot, we can still see that there's a lot of lightning out in the distance there. So it's cooking pretty good. It's not rained where you're at yet, so you're too far away from that. And would you, as you're driving closer, can you notice anything in the way of wind, or it looks kind of still on your shots?
No wind. Yeah, it looks very calm out here, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think it kind of makes sense. It's going to be moving into an environment that's very favorable for it, and so I'd imagine that those winds are going to pick up pretty soon, especially once you get closer, as some of those inflow winds and outflow winds will be a little bit closer. Jeff, thank you for that. We'll go back to radar, Peyton, and you can again see where Jeff's location is in relation to that storm. Again, he's south of Visai, north of the Leedy area, and he's getting himself into position, so he was looking off due to the west. But it, again, looks pretty good, especially on velocity. It looks to be really impressive there with that. And we are going to be watching this storm still continue to hold on to its strength. I think it goes until, what, Peyton, 8:45?
8:45,
8:45, yeah. And then I think I also saw on NWS chat that they're expanding our watch area too, I believe, for
yes.
Tornado Watch.
Tornado Watch, and the southwestern Woodward County storm is beginning to show signs of it being anchored to that boundary that we're concerned about, so the tornado risk is increasing.
Yeah, so on velocity right now, actually, if you just keep it there, we've got, again, the couplet that shows up nicely, but then that Woodward storm, it's that northern storm, again, it's the bit of the brighter red starting to show up there. Obviously not anything rotating just yet, but it's basically starting to right now. So yeah,
there.
Where Peyton circled it there, that's going to be our new area to watch out for because we've got a leftover boundary from the storm down to the south, and that potentially could create an additional rotating supercell, a little bit smaller one, but it's still one that's possible down the line. And then you're going to hear us talking a lot about boundaries this evening, whether we have wall-to-wall with tornado warnings or not, because of the fact that all of the storms that we had last night left behind a lot of outflow boundaries and into this morning, and now we're seeing additional storms today. So there's these boundaries that are in place, and with all the heat and humidity, it's just going to be ready to go, and it could be basically like adding gasoline to the fire with some of these storms, as we've got so much good ingredients coming into place. So there's our new larger severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 9:15 that expands out from there, likely just to catch, I would imagine, some of the wind as well as the hail potential that's with this storm too. But with it still being severe thunder, or with it still being tornado warned, we're probably going to hold on to that still for at least until we get to the actual end date of 8:45. But yeah, we're still watching Jeff's shot down there in the bottom corner of your screen. There's a lot of lightning with it as it's getting closer. You can see with what Peyton's doing here, she's got the our Baron product showing the worst threats that occur within that zone. And you can see there's large hail, but there's also a little spot there of the 70, 80 mile per hour wind that could be also possible too. Again, we know that all the threats are in place for today. We could have winds up to 80 plus miles per hour, the tornado potential, large hail, and this supercell is doing it all. And in fact, wouldn't surprise me if down the line, if it continues to move kind of in a slow direction, there might be some sort of flood advisory that gets put out for it too because of how much rain it's likely going to be able to produce. But a very good looking shot from Jeff's screen down there on the bottom corner of your screen. And we're going to continue to keep on watching that. He kind of cycles through different pictures and different camera angles on his car. And so we'll be able to detect more and more locations. So on Velocity now, might be looking at a broadening out of our supercell, maybe not exactly as good of a rotation spot. Go ahead, Peyton.
They're removing the confirm tag,
Okay.
but the circulation is still impressive.
Yeah, so we've lost a little bit of it there. Yeah, it's definitely not gone, but we have lost a little bit of it there. And we're also still watching too within portions of, as you can see in southwest Woodward County, we've also got that storm there that's got its own severe thunderstorm warning, and it too had a little bit in the way of some rotation trying to get going too. So this is still an area to watch out for, and we're going to be continuing to watch this for further development. And as you can see, Jeff's got on his shot in the bottom corner of your screen there, pretty good looking wall cloud as there's a big lowering on that storm. It looks like it might be frozen on that shot. We'll see. But that is what we're currently watching right now. Okay, yeah, so you can see that the new, oh, there we go. So we can see that we've got our new tornado warning on it. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and take Jeff's shot full screen. Looks to be very impressive looking as Jeff is looking off to the west. Peyton, you can go ahead and control that one and just click on Jeff's camera. And Jeff, we got your shot up right now. Let us know what you're seeing.
So right now we are looking to the west northwest area.
Okay.
Off the storm that's more going to hit the Vici area is what we're looking at.
Okay.
And it's got a lowering that keeps popping, kind of going up and down off the back end of it. It's kind of why we were sitting here trying to see what it's doing, comparing this one to the other storm, which is just slightly behind us right now.
Yeah, because we've been watching, Peyton and I have been watching that Woodward storm is what you're looking at, southwest Woodward County, and there is a little bit of an area of rotation there too. But that thing is low on the ground. Can you confirm that is very low? Yeah.
I mean, from here it looks low, but we do have some hills in our way as well.
Okay. Yeah, because we do know, though, that it's going to be, with it being so hot and humid, that we do have very, very high dew points, and so it's going to be possible that our clouds tonight are going to be very, very low to the ground. Looks like heavy rain, or there might be a little, might be a little bit of a funnel maybe right there, Jeff? Potentially?
Well, yeah, that's what we're it keeps seeing kind of going up and down on it.
Okay.
So we've just been trying to watch it, and so I'm not sure. It may be, some not so organized rotations, kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah. Peyton, go back to radar and then turn velocity on, because he is looking at that Woodward County storm just off to the, there's it's not much rotation, but it is definitely there. We still have it showing up for our tornado warned storm, but where Jeff is looking at is actually up to the northwest between Vici and Harmon, and there's definitely something there for sure. Go ahead, Peyton.
There's a new tornado warning coming for Ellis and Roger Mills counties with a west to east motion.
Okay. So
it would be south of Arnett.
Okay, so that you can see right now basically where we've got on the radar where that area of rotation is, that is going to be essentially on the polygon line right now, and it's kind of moving actually farther out of it. There it is. So that makes sense. So we got the new tornado warning. So we got two tornado warnings, kind of a little bit of a wider kind of angle now for that. And then we're also watching Jeff's shot looking up to the north too on the severe thunderstorm warned storm, but that one also is showing signs and exhibiting rotation as well, as it is its own little supercell just out to the northeast of our bigger storm. And he's got a good shot on that to where that potentially could become something too. But we're going to keep basically an eye on both of these storms. But Peyton, what does our new tornado warning go until? So also 8:45 still too. So everything is until 8:45 tornado warning wise, and we've got now essentially, if we can zoom in, Peyton, to see if any more spots are able to show up there. So still pretty, it's definitely a pretty rural area, no doubt about that. But if you do live to the north of the Roll area as well as Crawford, you live to the west of the Leedy area, you need to make sure that we're again seeking shelter with this storm, as it does have the potential and has produced confirmed tornadoes. And it's also one that's also producing very, very large hail, as well as the addition of 70, 80 mile per hour wind is possible with it too. So a storm that is very, very strong and does have multiple threats associated with it. And again, these warnings go until 8:45. That confirmed polygon, it's technically, it won't fall off until 8:45, but we have lost the confirmed tag with it, at least as of right now.
Yeah, I have seen a picture of a tornado briefly touching ground, so they do believe something did touch, but has come back up.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that report was likely a little bit of an older report, and so with the newer ones that we've got, it makes sense that we've dropped that confirmed tag on there. Peyton, let's take a look at the Barron button and see what that's showing for our main threats, because there probably is also a large hail core too with that. Yeah, so we've got, there's
Still
your
strong winds.
Yep, there's your 70, 80 mile per hour winds, and then there's also your very large hail that could be up to as large as 2 inches in diameter. And we could be looking at hail potentially even higher than that, and even larger than that throughout the remainder of our evening. So that's also going to be an issue with our storms.
Yes, the warnings are for hail an inch, inch and a half in diameter.
Gotcha. Yeah, so our product will sometimes overdo things because it is estimating how things are in the atmosphere. And with it being so rainy too, a lot of times we will actually get a lot of rain coating the hailstone, and it makes it to the radar look bigger than what it actually is. So that also is a reason why it goes a little higher sometimes. But again, a large supercell thunderstorm has come out of the Texas Panhandle and now into western Oklahoma, and we continue to watch that. There's also additional storm development off to the north of there, and that's where that storm is by the Visay area. And then we've also got our storm by Freedom that's moving through areas closer to Alva and also north of the Waynoka area. That one right now probably still remains at 60 mile per hour quarter size, and that's generally now at this point now all contained within Woods County. Go ahead, Peyton.
This one does have ping pong ball size hail.
Oh, ping pong? Okay, yeah. So our hail threat in that one is also going up a little bit more too. And let's take a look at our K County storms when you get the chance as well.
Velocity doesn't look very impressive on that.
Yeah, that one's doesn't have much in the way of rotation there. And I think the reason why might be because there aren't any boundaries for that storm to latch onto just yet. And now we've got most of our storm kind of now almost 2 storms that are kind of caught up to each other, moving through Osage as well as K County. So it's almost out of our area, but there's also a lot of heavy rain associated with these storms too, as these basically just kind of hug the Oklahoma-Kansas line. So we'll go back to our tornado warned storm across the western side of the state. And you can just kind of see as overall, as Peyton kind of just zooms out, that's where most of our activity is on the northern and northwest as well as western sides of our state. We don't have much in the way of any development outside of these zones, but we are probably looking at additional storms, or at least these ones, to continue to move to the east and to the southeast, bringing us more of a threat throughout the metro area as we head later on into the evening. And that will pose a threat going into the overnight hours. So Jeff's getting himself repositioned, looks like, and we'll check back in with Jeff right now. So Jeff, we can see you're on the move currently, likely getting yourself back into repositioning, kind of getting yourself into a better spot.
Yeah, so we are going to try and get south towards Leedy really quick. That storm just seems like it's got a better potential for it to produce a tornado, so we're going to try and get some coverage on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate you being in that storm that was in portions of Woodward County, because it looked like if it was going to do anything, that was going to be the one to do something. Maybe not so much now, but Jeff is in the Camargo area currently, and he's getting himself to position to get to Leedy, eventually to get out ahead of this storm that, again, has a tornado warning until 8:45. And also there's a large hail core with it, too. It's obviously pretty spotty cell service where he is at, but you can see that there's a definitely good definition of our cloud shield, and also, too, the lowering and the very, very just thick rain shaft with this as it's just producing also tremendously heavy rain with this storm too. So lots of issues with the storm. You can even see the mammatus on the underside of the cloud deck as well. So it's a very healthy storm. He's going to continue to be on it, and he's going to continue to get himself into position. And as we kind of rotate around his camera as he's on the move, you can see that, again, that lowering that is out there. But again, good, healthy-looking storm, and Jeff's getting himself into a better position, and we'll check back in with him in just a few minutes. So we've also got, so there's a larger severe thunderstorm warning that comes out ahead of it. It does include Leedy and Moreland and Hammond and Herring until 9:15 tonight, so it's just to kind of catch the storm. But we are also potentially looking at an additional tornado warning out of it again. Peyton, let's take a look at our velocity. It's been a little bit since we've checked in on that. And still there, not as impressive looking, but still there, and it's basically on that polygon line with the old confirmed tornado warning and within the new area there. Again, we've tried to put a track on things, and there's no town that does show up. But again, if you live near the Leedy area, you need to watch out as that storm is on its way towards you. You're not in the polygon currently, but we are looking at this to be moving about 40 miles an hour or so, generally off to the southeast. And so there could be a time where we have an additional warning that you would then be included in it. So still kind of watch out for how things progress. All right, so we got about 9 more minutes left of our tornado warned storm. We've got our storm tracker Jeff Porter down there in the bottom. You can see that, again, a lot of good structure with that storm. There's a good shelf cloud with it. There's the good lowering, the wall cloud with it too, as he was able to see. There's some mammatus because there is a lot of heavy rain with it too, a lot of moisture basically just bottled up within that supercell too. And there's going to be probably for sure very large hail somewhere within that heavy rain core as well.
We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming for southern Woodward and Dewey.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at kind of that same area. In fact, it's going to be actually to the north of where Jeff is at. That's going to be able to be posted, and that's for the storm that's heading towards the Visay area right now. So we'll wait for that polygon to get posted, and we continue to watch the tornado warned storm that will keep on going until 8:45.
This warning is for hail up to 1 inch in diameter.
Gotcha. So
expires at 9:15.
Gotcha. So it's 9:15. So it does go all the way to the Sestos area, almost to Tologa, almost to Sealing. Does include the area by Mutual. Visay, you're basically now in another polygon with that one, and that will continue until 9:15. So a number of storms kind of filling in on this gap. Yep, as Peyton zooms out, you can see that we are seeing more storm development within this part of the state, and these will eventually be moving into more of central Oklahoma within the next couple hours. So we've got more, unfortunately, another late night tonight with our storms, and more storms will be expected to come through even after these pass on through. There's likely going to be additional development later on. Peyton, I know we're not in it right now, but if you can go to the show and just kind of show the tornado watch graphic that we've got. So we've got our tornado watch. We've got it now, goes all the way down and touches our severe thunderstorm watch box. Earlier on they didn't have that, but now we do, and that goes until 10 o'clock tonight. So there's probably going to be some sort of additional watch that will get posted later on tonight for these storms, as we're not done with them yet. And we are also watching potential development coming through from the southern Texas Panhandle into southwest Oklahoma later on this evening too. But we will, let's go back to radar, Peyton. Just want to show that where that watch graphic was, as we had some new updates there with that. So we've got a big complex of storms right now, and what might be happening is that we may potentially be losing some of our supercell dynamics with this storm. Obviously, we still have it going on right now, but eventually this might be in its initial stages of it becoming more of a little Boeing segment that more of the wind takes over as the main threat. We were kind of expecting that to be our main issue this evening, but they had to start somewhere, and so we might be looking at that kind of morphing now, as it's not its own supercell anymore, but now kind of two storms have been combined into one larger complex, and we could be looking at that. You could even see what Jeff shot. Got a great looking shelf cloud on the bottom of your screen there, and so this storm looks to be still quite healthy, but it might be taking on more of a linear aspect of it too, but we're not there just yet.
Yeah, the cell that is tornado warned used to be singular, and we watched it from the Oklahoma Panhandle make its way through the Texas Panhandle and then re-enter the state with a tornado warning.
Yeah, and then to the north of that, we've seen then that storm kind of by the Visay area kind of kind of form as well, and it was likely its own supercell as well, a smaller one. And now they're all kind of getting congealed right now, and we're in the process of that happening. Let's take a look at velocity, see if we have any new updates there with any new couplets. Still does show up, and you can even still see by that area by just off to the west of the Visai area too. There's also another little spot of highlighting going on with our velocity too, as there might be still some small area of rotation because, like I said, we believe that we had the larger supercell in the south and the smaller one kind of basically combine and kind of get sucked into the big one. And now we've got maybe 2 areas of rotation, but definitely the southern spot is clearly where most of that rotating is actively ongoing. We still have 5 more minutes left of our warning. We will see what the National Weather Service does with any more additional warnings downstream, but we know that we also have our newscast this evening as well to provide you updates. But that looks like on the reflectivity that our inflow kind of closed up a little bit right there. As you're kind of seeing within our tornado warned area, maybe not exactly as clear open as what it was before. So there could be, if it's there, it could also be, unfortunately, rain wrapped would make it very hard to see. And then I know that we do have another severe thunderstorm warning for Kay County. So we got a new, go ahead, Peyton.
The Weather Service is noting that the Boeing segment that we kind of continue to talk about to the linear transition from the singular cells will require the tornado warnings to likely be transitioned to severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possibilities added to those.
Yeah, because we're not going to totally get rid of all rotation when it goes to the complex, the Boeing segment where it's more of the wind. There's definitely still that potential that we could be talking about, still that brief spin-up tornado possibility. We've seen this now happen a couple times within the past couple of weeks with some of these segments, really strong winds, and it does have occasionally a brief spin-up that's possible. But we might be looking at us at least probably, I'd imagine, probably getting to 8:45, likely dumping out with that tornado warning, and we'll probably then be looking at, in the future, later on down the line, this potentially could still produce more, but we do have to still kind of monitor how things go because we may be looking at this transitioning more to that wind threat, like Peyton is saying. I know that we did have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Kay County. Let's see where that one is at, Peyton. Okay, so it's in the far east side of the county.
Yes.
And when does that one go until?
This one goes until it's hail for an inch in diameter.
Yeah, so 9:15. So we got a half hour with that one until that goes through. Again, you also see within this same area, there's a lot of flood alerts as well. So you've got your aerial flood watches and potentially some flash flood warnings that are in and around the portions of southern Kansas. So we've got some flood issues also with these storms too, as they are going to be working over these same spots over and over and over again. But we'll go back to our storm that's tornado warned, but just want to kind of check in on that one. Still watching additional storm development by Medford and Pond Creek and by Kremlin. We've got our storm within Woods County for Waynoka and Alva. That one's got a little bit more of a hook now showing up with that one. So that one might be a spot to watch out for. So not really too much there with either one. Might have actually been just kind of more of another little storm that's kind of formed and kind of got sucked into it.
Together,
yeah, kind of mushing together. And then we've got our big complex of storms further down to the south from there that does have that tornado warning with it. Let's check in with Jeff and we'll pull up his shot. And we can take it full screen from here, guys. But we can see with Jeff's shot that it does have that good look to the lowering there. And Jeff, as we can see, we've got some trees that are out in the way. But overall, what are you seeing as you're approaching that tornado warned section of the storm?
Really seeing a lot of, they definitely got, the storm has a lot of layers to it. You go from like a jagged bottom to a very smooth, rounded midsection, then back jagged up top. So as we're coming into Leedy, we'll definitely be able to see it better. But it looks impressive out here.
Yeah, we're kind of watching it go from being more of the supercell to potentially more of, the linear, like line segment, the Boeing segment. Are you kind of also seeing that as well, where it's starting to kind of line out and kind of shelf out a little bit? Are you kind of starting to see that a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's shelving out. We're seeing the notch where not really sure if it's 2 storms that are coming together or that's just a really beautiful notch that it's forming in its core right now.
Okay. Yeah, so we might be still kind of watching the overall kind of transition and evolution of this storm. You still haven't gotten underneath it yet, so you don't know how heavy the rain is, but I would imagine that there's also...
Well, we got tornado sirens in Leedy right now. They've
Okay.
just started.
Okay. Yeah, so Jeff is in the... go ahead, Peyton.
They have updated the severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of 80 miles per hour winds. That's likely why these sirens are going off,
Perfect.
and likely why your phone has gone off in Leedy, because that does trigger the weather alert system.
Yep, that is perfect. So, yep, what Peyton had said right there, we've got with the 80 mile per hour warning with it. That's usually enough to fire off the tornado sirens as well as activate the wireless emergency alerts on your phone too. And definitely still the possibility with this thing to still produce a tornado, but we might be looking at that kind of coming down just a little bit in intensity, a little bit, I should say not intensity, that chance of a tornado coming down, that threat's coming down a little bit, just because it might be trying to line itself out. But it does look to be very, very impressive with what Jeff's shot is showing there. That supercell now becoming a bit more of that just line segment there. And where he's got his camera situated, does have, again, a little bit of a lowering right there, but I bet that probably looks a little bit more lower and impressive
Somebody coming.
with about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, before it started to take on more of its linear characteristics. But great looking shelf cloud there. Jeff, we still have you up where I know you're driving right now, but can you tell if there's any inflow or outflow winds where you're at?
Not yet. It still looks pretty calm out here. We've got the fire department. They seem to be running around everywhere with their lights and sirens going right now. So, but no wind that we're seeing right now. We can see off in the distance there is a lot of rain that's coming out of this storm.
Yeah, I think that this thing is also going to just produce just a ton of rain. Okay, so there's no wind where he's at right now. Not saying that there's not going to be, because it does have warnings up to 80 miles per hour. Right now, where Jeff is at, currently cannot feel any of the inflow or outflow winds associated with this storm just yet. But we'll go back to the radar, Peyton, and we'll see that now that we're currently at 8:46, we've lost our tornado warning, but it's to the destructive severe thunderstorm warning tag until 9:15. So we will have to go back to regular programming, but we'll check in with this storm throughout the remainder of our newscast, and this one will probably be one that will be causing us issues later on into the newscast tonight and even after that too. So we'll provide you much more updates throughout the newscast that starts in 13 minutes. We'll see you then. Live promos in 4 minutes. Got it.